What kind of nonsense is this? Let me out of here.
It's all part of the ceremony. Now, you listen here.
You hear what he said?
We're going to do something to this bell now. You be still or you might get hurt now. Don't move.
Hey everybody, Stranger Oddities coming back to you. It is October, as we've been saying. So, but no, you know, we've been talking a lot about, everybody obviously knows about a lot of the main horror movies and all that, you know, and I grew up watching this stuff mostly like on Joe Bob Briggs' Monster Vision back in the day, and so I'm always remembered like there's a lot of obscure horror movies out there that may have not have got the attention that some of the other ones got. You know, because obviously, you know, you got the major, you know, slasher killer ones, but there's other ones out there. There's like if you look at like the Slumber Party Massacre, those were a part of like a real cheesy, real campy, you know, ones that were back in the, I think the 80s they came out, and those were really good. I actually bought that on, there was a release of all three of them. Yes, there is three of those on a DVD pack, and now it's kind of out of print again. Of course, you know, we talked about Psycho Cop, and then I remember Maniac Cop. That I saw bits and pieces of on TV, and I just thought that was just crazy, incredible, crazy stuff. Maniac Cop 2 is like an action horror movie. They did release Maniac Cop 3 as an unrated edition. I might get that just to check it out. The first one, to be honest, I don't remember it all too well. I really don't. So I'd have to go back and rewatch that. I do not actually own that one, the first one, nor do I own the third. I just own the part 2, and I think that's by Blue Underground that released that. That's another one of those companies that was releasing stuff. But you know, you had those. There's another one called Toolbox Murders. That one came out in the 70s. That was pretty risque for its time as well. That was pretty intense. I got it, but pretty much you can figure what that's about. Some guy loose in an apartment building going around killing people with his stuff in his toolbox, drills, screwdrivers, and etc. There's another one called Popcorn. I want to say Popcorn may have came out in '90s, early '90s, if anything. That one's about like a theater that they decided to, and that's a really good campy. Real good fun one to watch. These group of friends and stuff, they do one last hurrah at this old theater, and they got all these old B movies and stuff they're playing, and you know, like you know, they got the gigantic wasp or something like that, and then of course they have one that flies through the screen. But then there's a killer on the loose. Yes, he's a deranged, disfigured killer going around with fake masks of people and killing off people and all that. So throughout the theater, it's a good fun one. That one is definitely that one's up there. I remember buying that on VHS way back at a yard sale, I think. The Exorcist 3 is another one that I think some people, it gets kind of lost in the mix with everything, because of course the original Exorcist shines over that one quite a bit. But that one is interesting because that's got George C. Scott in it. So that's cool, because this is right around the time he was also doing like The Changeling. The Changeling is another really good haunted house type scary movie that I really enjoyed. But looking back, you know, it's like, gosh, you know, I remember renting Halloween 4 on videotape from the grocery store, of all places, you know, because at the time, these movies were not exactly old. they may be a couple years old, or you know, maybe you know, not, but they weren't like extremely old yet. So it's so crazy to think back now. It's like, oh my gosh, like that stuff is you know, a lot of those guys are dead now. So but you know, Lucio Fulci, you know, of course we talked about a lot of his flicks and everything. And let's go back here and look at some comments that we got. Well, current comments for the latest of what we got going on here, at least during the time of the taping of this. And the latest one we did, currently up to date with this one, the last one is I Can't Justify It. And of course, you know, that one we're talking about the Wilson and stuff. And so, all right. We got Joe P right away. He says, loved Bloodfather. Although I would have gotten the quote, as far as he wouldn't have gotten the quote. Yeah, you know, but that was a really good, like we talked about, that was a really good underrated film. I thought it was really good, and it just really didn't get the attention that it should have. So is Get the Gringo. Honestly, if you keep up with some of Gibson's film that he was doing during that time, Get the Gringo is another good one. As far as spending money on hobbies, you can never justify it to others. Very, very good point. I spend $6,000 a year to park a 50-year-old trawler in Ventura Harbor. After doing so for 20 years, it's still the only monthly check I cut with a smile on my face. Hey, you know what? That's cool. And I remember you talking about that you go down there to the boat down there. So that's pretty cool. You know, that kind of reminds me of John Wayne's character, McHugh. You know, Lon and his boat. Then we got Lion Quest Fitness. Well, you start out basic after 12 years of absence from the gun world. You start out with a Taurus 85 and move on to an M206. Yeah, you know, you do. You start, you know, a lot of things come and go. It really does. So, you know, just you let a lot of stuff go. For me, a lot of things have come and gone. And I stopped sometimes and think about if I would have kept everything or kept a lot of things, man, I would have one hell of a collection. I really would. But I won't rehash some of these because I did answer some of these, and we won't go ahead and redo that. I kind of recognize a lot of the same comments that I've read them in the previous show. So actually that show is coming. I'm not going to release that show just yet, because there is some things that I talked about that we since then had a little setback. So I kind of want to hold off on that because I don't want to spring any kind of news like that until we're ready to go with it, and then let you guys kind of you know, I don't want to tell you something and then we're still some time out from that. So we're gonna save that for another time when I get some things more squared away towards that. Also, currently, like on eBay, I'm on eBay quite a bit, buying stuff, mostly stuff I don't need. And currently, right now, what I'm actually trying to bid on is there's this LP record. It's a vinyl record of Metallica's Load. I don't have, I do collect a lot of vinyl. That's kind of what I do as far as music goes. That's mostly what I collect. For whatever reason, you know, being a Metallica fan, I like their stuff that came out later, not so much like the more popular stuff. Everybody loves the early stuff. I don't. I like things pretty much from like Justice and forward. My two favorite records is Load and Reload. I think those are awesome. And there's one, here it is, and you know, Metallica has their own pressing, vinyl press now, so they make their own, and I'm waiting for, I mean, maybe they'll repress this, but so far Load is not been available, and here it is, and this person's got it, but it looks like I was watching it for a while there, but there's quite a few people watching it, and it went up to $36. I don't even know if you know, where that plays out, if somebody's you know, if that's to, I don't know how many people would be interested in it. It's not like we're trying to buy something like, Elvis's first record or something. So I don't know. It's up at $36 now. I don't know what to quite think of that. If I'm going to throw a bid on that, if that's a little bit more than I was willing to pay. And mind you, it is a used record, so I'm not really too thrilled about that. But a lot of the stuff, a lot of this vinyl definitely goes up. I mean, it's like crazy. Looks like here they have a current pressing of one. Let's see. Let's click on that. This is a current pressing. So they have been pressing this. It looks like it is done by the Metallica pressing. Well, come on, go back or go forward till I can see the back of it. Yeah, okay. This is on Blackened Recordings, so this is actually the newer one. Maybe they'll come out with this soon. Now this sucker they want. On this one, it's brand new. It's sealed. It's $100. Okay, that's steep, man. I don't know. I don't really think that's all that worth it. Same thing with some of the other stuff like Bad Religion, No Control. Is another record that just is like stupid expensive, and I thought I remember seeing it like come around like as a reprint or something like that recently. So I don't really know. But I think the $36 mark is a little bit pricey here. Let's see. Vinyl. Let's see. Let's see what they have. No Control. Because I'm pretty sure, yeah. We're talking that one's up to $100. Some of these again might have been that recent pressing that I may have seen. Let's see. Let's take a look at this one. This one the guy's got brand new. Okay, let's see. This one might be brand new. This one might be. Let's see what the description says. A brand new, is undamaged. I don't know. I thought they had redone this. And I may have missed the boat on that. Another one that they redid was Social Distortion. That they did one of theirs, and I jumped on it because it was just it just came out again. So I jumped on that one. Let's see here. It's always interesting, and the one thing about eBay, you can just about find almost anything on there. Another guy I follow on eBay, this guy is his name is Platter of Splatter. He sells a lot of DVDs, and he used to stick with just strictly horror flicks, but he's got a lot of other stuff on there too. But I'm actually on his thing right now. He's got a Dario Argento Blu-ray collection. You've got Deep Red, Cat o' Nine Tails, Inferno. Those are pretty good. I've seen Deep Red. I've seen Cat o' Nine Tails. I don't remember it, and I haven't seen Inferno. All right. Let's see. Rawhead Rex. That was who did that? That was a story by Clive Barker in his Books of Blood. I read that in high school. That was definitely interesting stories. Clive Barker is definitely strange when his writings is out there. All right. Let's see what other ones he's got. Like I said, he does have some other ones. He got Deliverance 40th Anniversary. That's pretty cool. Roadhouse Collector's Edition. Ooh, it's a Shout Factory too. Ooh, I like Roadhouse. Roadhouse is one of my favorite Patrick Swayze movies. That was just awesome stuff. The Onion Field. I remember that. I remember the Onion Field. That was a brutal cop movie, if I recall right. I don't know. Do you guys remember that one? The Onion Field. That's got John Savage in it and James Woods. I thought I remember that. I don't remember if I do remember, but forget to remember. Misery, Scream Factory, Collector's Edition. Pretty cool. Pretty good artwork on that. Shows Annie Wilkes there wielding the sledgehammer, standing over the bed. Creepy. Screaming Skull. Remember that was on one of those, crazy, like, I don't know. You always get those, like, 20 movies for like $5. My Boyfriend's Back, Sean S. Cunningham. Sean S. Cunningham is the guy that brought us Friday the 13th. I do recall seeing that cover on VHS. Him standing in the doorway with his arm that's torn off like a paper, like, you know, kind of paper doll looking thing. I do remember that. Another one I remember was, what is it? The Buffy the Vampire Slayer, where Rutger Hauer is the main vampire. By the way, that's a hint for those of you that are still here for the sound bite in the beginning of this radio chat. So, or no, I'm sorry, we're thinking about a different one. Scratch that. That was the other one. This one, the sound bite in the beginning of this one's a bit old. That's a bit of an old film. So, all right. Twilight People, that's strange. Shoot First, Die Later. Boy, look at that cover. That cover's like a head being blown apart with a gun. That looks, wow, that looks pretty interesting. Cauldron of Blood, Boris Karloff. Let's see some of these that I remember seeing. That, you know, one of the, like I said before, like one of the craziest like collections of horror VHS for rent was the local grocery store. Gosh, I would love to know what happened to all those. I mean, just everything from like, you know, like The Jar, you know, Horror Night and all this kind of crazy stuff. So, let's see. He has, like I said, this guy has like definitely incorporated a lot of other types of movies in there. Demons 1 and 2, we've talked about that before. I remember seeing the first one on whatever. Child's Play. What is this? Child's Play 72. There was a movie called Child's Play that wasn't involving Chucky, and it came out in the 70s. Well, that's interesting. Never really. Cohen and Tate. Hey, look, there's a copy of Cohen and Tate, and it's not like $100. By the way, it's not that good of a movie. At least I didn't think so. Roy Scheider's a bad guy in it. Yuck. If you haven't seen Cohen and Tate, they're basically two guys kidnap a kid and traveling across the road. It's a roadie movie, kind of a road movie. So I don't know. I didn't really care for it. Not one of my favorite Roy Scheider films, and I do like Roy Scheider. Evil Ed, that's a Swedish splatter film that kind of came out in the 90s. I remember having that on VHS. The cover to the original VHS tape was awesome. It was an axe splitting the head, but it was like a cartoon kind of look. It had that look of like Garbage Pail Kids. Kind of thing. So, all right, let's see what else they got. Wow, he is loaded with more non-horror lately. I don't know what has happened to him. He used to be mostly horror. He's like kind of my go-to guy. But I'm like scrolling down, it's like page after page of like just multiple other things. So, let's see. Bird with a Crystal Plumage. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. You gotta love the popcorn gun. House 2. You know that the House series movies that spawned into like 4 different ones, and like after part 2, like it really has nothing to do with the house. You know, another one that I remember, and I actually bought this from this guy. It was called Demented, and the front cover was just a lady wielding a meat cleaver. And you know why I remember that? It's because like my dad and I were somewhere at some motel or something. We were there for like, I think we were like checking on something, and we saw that they had, you know, they had rental tapes. You could rent these tapes and take them back to your hotel and watch them. I guess you had your own Friday night thing going on. But I remember seeing that on VHS. It was like Demented. It was a lady wielding a cleaver, and I just saw that. Gosh, growing up like that then, when like this stuff wasn't like that old yet, so they was still like you could still find it, and it was still kind of current. Gosh, that was so awesome. Jeez. So, yeah. Not so much of the other stuff. Yeah, just not a whole lot going on here. Retro Puppet Master. I remember Puppet Master. That was Puppet Master stuff was all part of the Full Moon Pictures. Full Moon Pictures is a kind of independent horror company that was doing stuff, and Charles Band is the guy that came up with a lot of the puppet stuff. And so also one that's a really good one that they did, and I mean I liked it. It was good. It was fun. I rented it from a video store when I was younger. It's called Dolls. That was an interesting one. So I remember back in the day, I used to hook up the two VCRs and try to copy tapes and stuff. That was the way you did it. And then, of course, you had to battle the copy guard. You know, it's like, oh, you know, you couldn't, it wasn't easy to copy, or I don't know. There's all kinds of weird tricks and stuff that you could try to do, but I don't think they ever really worked. So, anyway, I appreciate you coming and tuning in. Happy Halloween. Hope your October is going wonderful. The weather out here is starting to become awesome, and I love it. Let the cold weather commence. Okay, so you're still here. So you're still here, you're still listening. What is the soundbite in the beginning of this radio show is taken from an old horror movie directed by Herschel Gordon Lewis called 2000 Maniacs.